Hey, Erwin.
G'day. How are we all?
Hey. Oh, nice to hear from you here. First time on stage, I think.
I think it probably is. Yeah, I usually don't have much to talk about with all the other people knowing so much more than I do. I'm quietly listening in the background, and learning as always.
Yeah, we all appreciate you, Erwin. So I think you're always underestimating. You've been in this, I think you have quite a bit of knowledge. Maybe you're just being modest, in my opinion.
Not so much on the technical side, but the marketing is probably a little bit of my stronger point. I'll let Nathan do all that technical sort of stuff. So yeah, g'day, Nathan. How are you, buddy?
I think he's on listener mode. He could come up on stage if he'd like.
Yeah, I'll just invite everyone.
I think make it more social. We're here. Let's just make the most of it.
How is all the preparations happening in regards? So I know this is the Hamza division, but how is HandyCon going? You were getting all prepped up for that?
It's always this intense, especially Anne is dealing with a lot of the, everything gets exciting in the last minute. But yeah, it's coming together. It's less than a week. We're gonna do some rehearsal. Well, Anne's will do some rehearsals after this session, and it's looking great.
And it's a very global. This week and next week, I have to be up like 24/7, and then it's good that Namebase has already started helping with the promotions. Hamza is also participating at HandyCon, and yeah, looking forward to that. Day 1 and day 2, day 3, they're all exciting. There's an exciting lineup, so it's a really, like a big event every year for Handshake.
5 years, can't believe it. It's gone quite quick. I remember knowing of it since 2021. It's already 4 years. It's gone very quick. Hopefully, bigger and better.
Yeah, it's definitely 100%. It's definitely crazy how time is. I feel like it's 4, but it's 5. I guess. Yeah, I lose track.
Yeah, it's the 5th one. Yeah, 5, right?
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Alex.
Nice to see you, hear you. Cool to be in a different setting. Hamza.
Yeah. Of course, we really appreciate. The Handshake community is, of course, I think it's real. It's relevant too. I mean, decentralized e-commerce, decentralized domains. So I'm happy. I'm always trying to find the best relationship between the Hamza and Handshake, or HNS, as best we can. Always
amazing. I think Hamza is bigger than that, though, personally. And as a user, I think that I was pretty amazed when I ordered a power bank with ETH, and it just arrived at my house. Pretty insane.
It is
great experience, by the way.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Really always appreciate the support. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. We're so quiet. We got to be. I mean, I guess similar like the Handshake community. We're all like building, and it's quieter than it should be on the front, but it's never-ending building too. I mean, there's so many feature requests and small, things to fix. It's never-ending. So, we're trying our best to keep improving, because it's still. I think Web3 and crypto, whether it's Handshake, Hamza, or any crypto related, the user experience is still so hard. It's so hard to make it easy to use in crypto. Like my friend was telling me, in Web2, it's so easy to like integrate the payment and the shopping carts and these, we have to really do that in crypto as best we can. Whether it's any of these projects, it's still hard to use generally. Of course, Namebase is very straightforward too, but even in Namebase is hard with the onboarding, right? I mean, the crypto onboarding, people get scared sitting in Bitcoin and things like that.
I mean, it goes beyond that. Like I have a personal trainer that works with me every week, and I'm always trying to get him to be involved in crypto. And I always say I'm gonna pay his lessons in Bitcoin. And I suggested, like, for him to try out Coinbase as a start. And even with Coinbase, for him, it was hard. So there's still a big problem in the crypto space in general, which is onboarding non-crypto users into crypto. And you might think, oh, Coinbase is super simple, and it is for us, but for people outside of crypto, it's still new territory and scary. So it's a big challenge throughout the industry in general, I guess.
I agree. I mean, it's really frustrating. Actually, we're fundraising now and I was in Hong Kong. I think some of you heard and saw. And so many people think crypto is meme coins. It's really almost embarrassing as an industry. Like you talk to an investor and they're like comparing you to a meme coin or even thinking you're a meme coin. It's like, no, we're actually building a real product and use case and utility. But I mean, the sad fact, and I think it's even one reason the market's kind of down, is there's so much of this crap meme coin stuff in the market. And unfortunately, it seems like it was a pretty organized, almost crime, in my opinion, but organized group that would pump and dump meme coins that, I hope justice is served, but probably not, but basically, and it just gives a bad name to the whole space. We all just get lumped in as a meme coin, like I'd say Handshake 2 and Hamza or anybody. This is almost maybe what I want because then they can say crypto is like a scam or not useful, etc.
Indeed. Good evening, guys, or good morning.
Hey.
Indeed, even presidents are involved in that.
I mean, you're in Latin America. I mean, I don't want to get too off topic, but this whole Argentina coin, Libra, like you must be hearing about even more than we is I don't know. I don't want to get off topic too much, but I mean, in the Spanish market and the Latin America market, I mean, what do they generally say about that?
Well, you don't hear about it much either, but yeah, there's a big fallout with that. And I understand Milei's being, prosecuted for that. I mean, there's a scandal in Argentina right now with that. Okay. Although, to be fair, Trump did pretty much the same thing and nobody said anything.
I don't know. I would just like to clarify about that. I'm also not happy about the Trump coin, but one difference was whoever launched the Trump coin, Trump says he's got a huge team and he doesn't know everything that's happening. The big difference is, I mean, I think Libra would have been okay, same as Trump, but whoever launched it, and it seems like this organization sold it, all of it, as soon as it was bought. So it went up to like billions. I don't even know the numbers. And then it like within the same hours crashed down because the insiders and, creators or whoever sold as soon as people were retail or, the families or the retail bought, they were selling hard and crashed it. If they didn't sell immediately everything into it, it would have been, because Trump coin, they don't dump it. It actually did, quote unquote, pump, and it didn't. It did it for quite a while, and it's still even maintaining now the price. I mean, it's down, of course, but it's not like it went from like a billion to like 100K. 90% drop in like 3 hours. I think that was the major issue of the Libra. I mean, I'm talking about hours, billions to like crash like in hours because the insiders were selling it like immediately, heavily.
Yeah, true. Libra was more spectacular in its failure. Yeah, but in the end, that's.
I mean, Trump is still even. I'm not buying Trump coin, but Trump. I'll look it up right now. It's still like, it's what is it? It's still at $13 and top 46 coin. Libra went to like a top coin to almost zero within like 3 or 4 hours. So it's different, Still,
Mike, trying to get the conversation back on topic.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, It's true. Meme coins do not help in giving the industry a good reputation, but anybody who lives in a country that's marginalized from the USD banking system can tell you that crypto does have its use cases, but they're hard to see if you live in a first world country or in any country where you take for granted that you have access to such USD banking systems, And the way the world is going with de-dollarization and stuff, I think that more sooner than later, crypto will prove its use case,
Yeah.
And that's where we stand right now. That's it's a challenge, and it's also an opportunity. Giving people access to markets that they would not otherwise have,
Yeah.
And all that.
I agree. Yeah, so let's go to our agenda. So Jose's here, a little bit of delay getting things started with everybody. So maybe we'll formally kick off now. It's our second Decom talk for the Hamza Decentralized E-commerce Marketplace. And we're looking to host these every couple of weeks, or seeing the frequency. We're still determining the frequency of these. Your feedback is appreciated, but we want to engage more with the public at large, show what we've been doing more on the commercial side. Just another plug, we have a Hamza Discord, and also we have a town hall call led by Bo on the team, which is more about governance, tokenomics, white paper, which happens on Mondays. I know time zones is tricky with our global world we're in, but it's evening Asia, morning US, and afternoon Europe. I believe 8 p.m. GMT plus 7, 1 p.m. GMT. So that's also happening. And so basically what we're trying to get into a flow is every 2 weeks, we have a town hall on Monday, which is tokenomics, Web3 governance, which is actually pretty fascinating. Bo's a pro at this. Jose, I know, likes those, right, Jose?
Oh, yeah. I recommend them to anyone. It's fascinating. I mean, it's fascinating watching a token be designed and all the incentive structures. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, so we're doing this. That's also being publicly discussed, and we welcome you if you're here and that as well. That's a little bit more, it's not totally private, but you have to join our Hamza Discord, and it's inside the Discord voice channel. And so that's on every other Monday as far as our current agenda. And this is on Thursday, every other Thursday, as a Decom talk on Twitter Spaces or X Spaces. And this is more about the kind of business side of the buyers and sellers and the updates of that. And we try to bring some of our vendors or hear from the buyers or hear from the community at large. And this is recorded, as well as the town halls, and are posted on blog.hamza.market, where you can get the full information on that. So what do we have? I know, Jose, you worked on an agenda. What do we got on our list today? And maybe introduce yourself a bit.
I was thinking of touching upon the topic of logistics and what a challenge for us at Hamza. Just to set the stage a little bit. For example, I see Erwin is here. He has a store with us. And
yeah.
I don't know if he's invited, and that's part of the agenda. I think it is. But
great.
For example, Erwin talks about Erwin's store sells these HNS label pins, right? And he sells them from Australia. And one of the challenges we're facing, for example, if I were to be interested in purchasing one of Erwin's labels, he ships them from Australia, but there's really no direct cheap shipping route between Australia and Venezuela, either by air or sea or any otherwise, So everything is pretty much centralized in the U.S. I know, for example, if you're anywhere in Latin America and you use these e-commerce platforms such as Amazon, Mercado Libre, that sort of stuff, buying from abroad, what you usually is you use a freight forwarder, and the freight forwarder is usually based in the U.S. So you have like a sort of a mailbox in the U.S. You consolidate all your stuff, and then the freight forwarder ships it door to your address in some Latin American country. That's the way that the system is set up currently. And I was just thinking this afternoon, hey, I mean, the with Trump and all the tariff wars and stuff, it's it's making it more of a challenge to actually keep doing that, because if tariffs are imposed between the U.S. and China, for example, if you're buying something from China, you still need it to go through the U.S. because of what I've explained. I mean, it's much cheaper than directly from China to Venezuela, for example. So that's a bit of a challenge for a nascent marketplace like us, where you have sellers from all over the world and buyers from all over the world. How to get merchandise, physical goods cheaply from country A to country B? That's quite a challenge.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can definitely discuss this for sure. And I just feel like this is my life's work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for most of my adult career, 20 plus years of e-commerce and online marketing and logistics. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I don't think anybody's got it solved. And like you said, the Trump thing totally changed the game. We have a lot of my Handshake fam friends here on this live call, which I really appreciate. And we're learning about this decentralized world a lot in Handshake. The real dream of Hamza is, and we talk about this, and we're starting to say it, accelerate that, is we want to make local marketplaces, right? I mean, Hamza is not meant to be the only marketplace in the world of Web3. So we're actually somewhat kind of pivoting in a way, or accelerating our longer term vision of multiple marketplaces. Jose, I think you know that, with the Decom token.
Yeah.
So the Decom token is what we're focused on because of our fundraising and because of the legalities of how it would be structured. But I think the solution, or because actually I haven't even brought it up, but Erwin is in Australia, but he's distributed pins. I'm kind of a distribution node. I've just received them from Hong Kong, Erwin. I finally picked them up last week at my office in Hong Kong. So I have the latest batch of them, but I think also Migs at ftserstupid.com, which I think you've talked to, Jose.
Yeah.
I think he also, I might be mistaken, but he's a US based node. I don't know what to call it, merchant. And he could also, we didn't develop this in Hamza yet, but we could have it where one product could ship from multiple locations. And this, I don't want to kill our amazing developers. I mean, we don't give them the spotlight they need, John, and we have quite a few developers. But to develop that would be a lot of work. But technically, maybe just manually do it, Jose, where I have some, if somebody's got some in Asia, I could ship them. If it's US based, it could ship from, say, MIGs in the US. Maybe even if you want, I mean, I think the way we quote unquote beat Amazon or Web2 is by being decentralized. So of course, Erwin have to, it's a little bit more trust, but you could have stock in various locations. And I don't want to blow your mind, Jose, but as you know, we don't use the name LoadPipe anymore. There's Decom. But if you look at loadpipe.com, it's still going to exist, but it might be further down the road of being a decentralized supply chain management solution. So actually, it was a little bit of a joke. Actually, some of the team doesn't like the name LoadPipe, or feels like it's not relevant for what these projects are, which, I can accept, and I did accept. It is more of like a supply chain tool. So, our buddy Bo, like we sold something. I don't know if you know this, but he says he's the first LoadPipe delivery. So somebody bought a traveler's pack, tech pack.
Okay.
And he delivered it by hand. I was with him physically, and it was another Chiang Mai person, but he was flying out the next day, so we couldn't ship it. So he actually took it and delivered it. And he says, I'm the first LoadPipe delivery. And I guess I'll keep that. I think, but of course, we didn't program any of this. But the world I see in the future I still believe, I don't know, I don't want to be sick, but I still see a Mad Max world. I don't want to say I'm negative of the way the world is, but, I believe we need these decentralized things because things can be taken down and taken over. So I can see a world where I have a node of delivery. There's one in other locations. The merchants could send some inventory to those nodes, like if they want to have some in Hong Kong or some in US or some in Venezuela. That wouldn't be Hamza or Decom. That would, I guess, maybe would be. I don't want to go crazy with names, but it would probably be this load pipe system. But the point is, it would be an independent person, not official company. It would not be like Amazon warehouse. It would be a person's warehouse. And of course, there's got to be trust. There would be, of course, another layer of kind of feedback and education of, because of course you're sending your products to somebody, you'd have to have some trust in them. But it would be a decentralized distribution network. So I don't know if obviously it's not working right now, but maybe we could test it with some of our early sellers. I don't know how we would program that in the front end. But, another solution, just to be clear, is a lot of people ship globally from China or US. It doesn't have US. Some ship from China. I mean, what a lot of people do is global shipping, and then they just say it's going to take time to get to Venezuela. But you could, of course, ship to your freight forwarder, which you have used as well, and then they receive it, and then they ship it out.
Well, I actually put this question up to the AI this afternoon. And what AI suggested, which makes perfect sense, is, you could use alternative nodes like in Panama and Singapore and other nodes with more, shall we say, convenient duty policy, exports, customs policies and stuff. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. I mean, we're evolving slowly into some sort of a crowdsourced, decentralized, I don't know, ant colony, you could call it that. It's what I see us becoming. And maybe, who knows, maybe there's another role in the Hamza marketplace, such as, a warehouse or a node. I don't know what you would call that, but yeah, I could see that evolving time, because that the world is the future is decentralization, man. It's just bound to happen. Have you ever read this book called The Sovereign Individual?
I've read so many of these books, and I can't remember which one I have and haven't, but I know that's a very popular title, and I think I have.
Yeah,
I've read a lot of. I've read a lot of.
Yeah, there's a lot of that book is mentioned quite a lot, especially in Bitcoiner circles, because it predicts. It goes through an analysis of all this technology, starting from internet, which was available back in the day when the book was written. But the book predicted internet money and how the central powers and big corporations and big nation states would try to fight back. But in the end, the book's thesis is that they will not be able to control that, because the world is slowly shifting towards a sovereign individual model, and that necessarily goes through decentralization. So that's where we stand in this wave, and that's why I feel very privileged to be a witness to all this,
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can open up. Erwin, do you have an opinion or a feedback or thought about maybe anything we've discussed, or your H&S lapel pins? I mean, I love them. I use them every day. I wear mine for years. I don't know if you've noticed some of my pictures, everybody, or videos. That's always clipped on my shirt. But Erwin, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to list my product on Hamza. It's good. I'm still learning everything about learning to log in back end. Using what am I using, the Firefox wallet to enable me to log in and all that. So it's all fairly new to me. So yeah, it's good to get involved. I have seen you always wearing my pins, Mike, which is great. It's great to see others out there promoting a handshake for what it is. Even back end, we all know we talk the talk online, but I think it's offline that is just as powerful. Reaching people when we're out conferencing and chatting to people at a bar or club. I'm using myself as a classic example. I have it on a lot of the time on the weekends, and people are always asking what does that H mean? And I
Yeah,
just
same.
and I just say, well, if you could imagine yourself owning, we've all heard of .com. If you are interested in owning anything behind that dot, like if you want to own that COM, the .com, I suggest you log on to Handshake and find out a little bit more about it. But you can't talk too techie. But long story short, it's a good little promotional item, and yeah, I'm glad that Hamza's come on board. It's unique, different, fresh, new. Yeah, so wish you guys the best with that, and yeah, as we all get evolved with the buying and selling, I'm happy to look into getting some product made. And obviously, let's be honest, the Chinas of the world are the best users of raw material into a finished product, and pins are probably be amongst that as well. So I'm happy to have that sort of thing made, and maybe have a central distribution happening from there to the different corners of the globe, because at the moment I'm sending the pins, but so much, it'll cost me 60 Australian dollars just to send a parcel out with 5 pins and a couple of other bits and pieces, and I'm absorbing pretty much all the costs. But we want product out there to many other people, not just including the pins, but other things as well.
Yeah, this is a challenge, but I could also help. Like I said, I have a batch with me, and I don't know if Migs has any left or not, but maybe, or we could get some to him. But that's another option, Jose. I know, but yeah, I mean, it's been super hard. I mean, we're such a globe. Actually, I don't know if it's Web3 or just our community, but we are definitely distributed around the world. The people I work with, and from the Handshake and Web3 and other, we are all over the world. Like Jose's in Venezuela, Erwin's in Australia, I'm in Thailand, Anne's in Philippines. I see some people here might be want to be more anonymous, but they're in Europe. Quite a few in Europe. Honestly, I don't even know that many based in the U.S. that we work with. Almost, there's some. I'm not saying not many, but it's not like we're a very heavy US group of people that I'm working with in these decentralized communities of just Handshake, Hamza we're building out, and others. So it's fascinating. It's great. And it's also of course challenging, but that gives opportunity. And I guess the next point is, I've been talking to people. I was at Consensus in Hong Kong. I can't take like quote unquote Amazon directly in the U.S. market and compete directly. I think the way is to go to these more niche or needed markets. Like I don't know, Jose, I don't know if I've told you directly, but I'd love to do more in Venezuela. I mean, maybe we're even trying to make it where we can have a clone of Hamza. So what we're actually trying to do with Hamza is, we haven't even started to discuss it because we didn't even finish building Hamza, but we want to make Hamza where you can make your own Hamza, right? And that's what the Decom token would be utility for. So you want to make a clone of Hamza and reskin it a bit, and maybe even just making a different language and different colors. Of course, there's more to it than that, but we help you do that, and also use the smart contract, the escrow system, the judging pool. So what we're really trying to do is to allow people in different marketplaces of the world, places in the world, to make their own marketplace, to be like more infrastructure than application. I don't know if people understand that, but this is like been accelerated because of the legal issues we're facing, raising money at the Hamza application level.
So from what I understood, the future goals or visions for Hamza is to make it sort of a white label product for other people to build marketplaces on and use the Decom token, to buy and sell the products. Wouldn't this make you more sort of a Shopify, like decentralized Shopify competitor, maybe, besides the website building?
Yeah, well, to be clear, Hamza is still going to be a entity. It's actually, it is already an existing structure, and that is going to be, is still a standalone project. But yeah, we're basically, I don't know if it's much of a Shopify. There's something, if you Google search MaaS, marketplace as a service. Like SaaS is software as a service. There's a term in e-commerce of marketplace as a service, and I've actually used some. So what I'm trying to say is we could be more like a Shopify, I guess, but we're trying to be more like making your own multi-vendor marketplace. So Shopify is more like a single vendor store. Of course, you could use Hamza as your only one vendor, and that might be the direction it goes. But we are seeing it more as is you can make you as an entrepreneur or a startup, and you want to start your own marketplace and say, like I love to do this for Jose. Say in Venezuela, there's a lot of people that want to get their own marketplace, sell product. So you'd have to get buyers and sellers. So it's a bit of a bigger task, but bigger maybe. It's a different kind of business model than Shopify store, if that makes sense. But it's a bigger undertaking. And if I could just add my last part, just sneak in there. We are talking to very early, but imagine we could even Amazon, but existing Web2 e-commerce marketplace. Imagine we could say, hey, you should at least embrace some Web3. Why not add a section on your website, Web3 marketplace, in their brand? And then that could be powered by Decom, not Hamza, but Decom. Actually, we're trying to get that name on Handshake. Some of you maybe saw that. But basically, then that would be powered by Decom, not Hamza. Hamza is the front end. First Decom marketplace, as you maybe have seen. And Decom is the token and utility and infrastructure to make it. But imagine you go to like any marketplace now, like anywhere in the world, and you could see like a tab saying Web3 marketplace. And I think it's like a bridging of Web2 and Web3. So we're thinking maybe some existing Web2 marketplaces might want to be innovative and add, maybe they don't have to change their whole current Web2 marketplace, but they could have early adopters maybe go on that as well. So sorry, I think you were saying something, Alex, but that's the idea.
And Mike, may I ask, how would you leverage network effects in a bunch of marketplaces like that, decentralized marketplaces? How is there a way for people in those or those marketplaces to leverage or use a sort of a network effect?
So if you go to decom.network, you can get some ideas, and it was also discussed, and people can refer to the town hall last Monday. But just to be clear, in case that was missed, the utility of the Decom token is to be the escrow disputes layer, so the disputes at Hamza would happen at the Decom layer. So that's one, and I could explain that more deeply if you'd like to hear more deeply. But basically, the community of arbiters would be at the Decom layer, not at the Hamza layer. Hamza is a customer of Decom. The second point is vetted catalog management. So if this marketplace, say, I don't know if you want to give me a name in Venezuela, but say your Venezuelan marketplace, you could import from our Decom database or blockchain, you could import Erwin's HNS lapel pins to sell in your market with his criteria. So you could import the catalog, some or all of the catalog, into your marketplace. Mm-hmm. And there's a third layer. The third use case is seller escrow, not escrow, but seller skin in the game is what I call it. But basically, we talked about this on Monday. You were there. I think you were even contributing to this point. So how do we trust this vendor? How do we trust Erwin? I trust Erwin. I've worked with him a couple of years. He ships them to me. But how does a random person trust Erwin, especially if you make a new marketplace and import product into that and start selling Erwin's products on a multi-vendor marketplace? So one way with trustless trust, how do you trustlessly trust? What we're solving is money. Money is weighted so you can use the Decom blockchain to stake Decom's token or maybe even other token into it in a long-term staking contract, so that if Erwin starts to be a bad merchant, he could have not just because there's a difference of the escrow of the orders versus a staked deposit of funds into a long-term contract. This is like a way to say, if I do something bad as a seller, and of course, the blockchain can't just take it. There has to be the arbitration and the disputes. But if you start to sell plastic or deteriorating pins, and then people start to complain, they could potentially arbitrate with Decom Network to try to get some of those staked funds as reimbursement for their damages. So those are the three use cases of the Decom token versus the Hamza token. Hamza is a more of a pure like Amazon customer, the first Decom marketplace. Even a T-shirt you might see me wearing around says the first Decom marketplace. Even as Decom talks, Decom is our we haven't launched yet, that powers the marketplace with those three main utility.
So it would be sort of like the gluing everything together as I understood, right?
It's B2B, it's business to business, right? It's basically the main customer is the marketplace more than the buyer or seller, maybe a little bit of the seller too. The seller and the marketplace are the main user of Decom. The buyer we're not going to force buyers to use tokens for gas or, of course, maybe we can accept it as a currency if people want to pay with it, but it's not meant to force the buyer to use it because that would be, in our opinion, too much friction. So people can still use stable coins or ETH or hopefully other currencies as we add them. But the utility is more of a infrastructure one. And of course, the quote unquote generic governance of voting for any changes in the structure of it.
I see.
And we're moving to that sooner than we thought because as we're fundraising, people say the Hamza token is a security and you can't. Actually, I'm noticing, I don't want to call out Namebase, but I'm noticing most of the marketplaces in Web3 are equity. They're not token, or the token is not really connected to the marketplace. Even OpenSea says it's coming, Magic Eden, they're not as connected to the marketplace. So what we want to do at Hamza is actually give the benefits of the marketplace to the holders of the token. And back to meme coins, it seems like governments want us to just launch meme coins. When you actually give utility to a token, they don't like it and they call it a security, and supposedly you could go to jail for it. So I don't really feel like going to jail for selling a security. Well, I've already thought about this. I guess if I go to jail, I'll just have to go to jail if I have to. I mean, I thought about that a lot the last couple of years, but I'm not going to try to do it on purpose or, basically you're like a target. If we fundraise on Hamza publicly, we could have the SEC after us or something. So I don't really feel like doing that because we give utility, we give actual benefit to the token. Isn't it sound the stupidest thing? But
it is. It's totally nonsensical.
It's totally fine. But if you actually give utility to the holders, you are a security.
Exactly. And rug pulling millions of people is fine.
It's really it's really a messed up world, And then you go to these crypto events, they're more interested in your, I think this is why everybody gives crypto a scam. And maybe governments do this on purpose because they don't want it to be useful. I think this is the honest truth because they're scared if it's useful, it's a threat to them. If it's like some casino scam thing, then they can just call it out and say it's all a scam because they don't let you make it not a scam.
Exactly. It reminds me of something Frederick Hayek said, the famous economist. He used to say that, we're not really going to fix money unless we introduce something like that can't be controlled by central entities. He was saying this in the 70s. And he was basically talking about Bitcoin. But yeah. He said, unless we introduce it in some sly roundabout way. And I guess that's what we're trying to do with decentralized marketplaces.
Yeah, so that's why our legal counsel is telling us Decom token is more I guess you could say utility, but less of a security because it's not as directly connected to the transaction revenue of the marketplace. I hope everybody's understanding. And we didn't want to strip that out of the Hamza project. I guess we could have just still sold Hamza token and not given the benefits to that, but we decided not to do that and just rather go to the Decom layer for the public.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, maybe questions or more input from others. I mean, I hope this has been interesting. We're still experimenting with the format of these spaces for the project, but it's feeling we're going more than the operations.
Yep, and this is more like you said, the business side of things, and the evolving landscape and all the challenges that we have to face. It would be nice if we could get somebody from the shipping and logistics, maybe a freight forwarder, to come talk in the next talks.
I don't want to yeah, we could easily do that. I don't know if you even know, but I'm a partner, investor, owner of a logistics company in China called Easy China Warehouse. I think you've talked to some of those in groups. So yeah. They are fully aware of what we're doing and supportive of doing it. And of course, we can get maybe Justin or CEO there on a space. That's a good idea. Maybe that could be a future one.
It would be great. It would be great because I think that's a question that needs so much clarifying and it's giving us a lot of complexity right now. Because I see that we have a lot of sellers, and most of our sellers are like local sellers. For example, you have Drunetics store. They're selling this great health moringa products, natural products.
Yeah,
they're only available.
I'm hoping I can get mine soon.
Yeah. By the way, his store has been fixed. I believe he will be able to see his.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think an hour is a good amount of time for this, which is in about 5 minutes. So, does anybody have anything for us, or questions or comments?
Yeah, just regarding the marketplace, will it be only physical products, or are you considering also services?
Well, Jose he's also a vendor as well as a team member, but Jose's selling ebooks right now. I know some of his customers are having trouble buying it, right, Jose? We're solving that, but we originally thought only physical products. I mean, that was at least my thoughts because I'll be honest. I mean, I feel like it's just so hard to do so many. Because everything starts simple or sounds simple, but when it gets to the details, it gets more complex. But we added gift cards. If anything, I've actually been enjoying that myself personally. But you can buy gift cards, and actually, I believe our rate is very competitive to other platforms. So you could use crypto to buy like various gift cards, which are digital. Jose's book. I think there's a couple other digital products being added. Actually, you talk about services. I had lunch with this contact a couple days ago. She seems to think that we might have more success or another success with the Upwork, Fiverr model as a Decom token, but maybe not inside Hamza. I don't know, maybe because it gets also harder for the user. But I'll just say we haven't really started to develop that. And I think if we mentioned it to our CTO, John, his head would explode. So maybe we don't, Jose. It's not simple, but there's a lot of details and differences, but I guess essentially it's not that much different of buying a service than a product. But I think when you really dig into the flow and the details, it is a bit different. But I think on the Decom layer, hopefully, if you wanted to make a service marketplace, I believe the flow and they would be similar. But I don't know. I just feel like mixing human services with physical products on a one website. It's not even inside Amazon usually there's marketplaces for services and marketplaces for products. I don't usually see them mixed together.
Mm-hmm. True. I mean, you were mentioning like the white label idea, and I just thought about.
Yeah, quite a few people bring up. A lot of people complain about Upwork lately. I don't use it lately, but a lot of people complain about Upwork now. Quite a few friends I know are buyers and sellers on Upwork. It seems like they really also got predatory with, I don't even know what it's called. You need some kind of credits to apply to gigs or jobs, and then they basically sell. That's how they are making more money. They used to kind of like used to be kind of free to apply to a job post or a project post, but I think there's some, I don't even know the system, but system. And it seems like it's making it more. And of course, I've seen people get shut down on Upwork quite a few times.
It is also worth mentioning that these platforms are not. I mean, the demand for these things in crypto would, I imagine, be huge. But to answer your question, Alex, yeah, right now we support digital products and physical products. So maybe that could be that could be worked or repackaged as a digital product.
Again, I think anybody here is somewhat technical knows that these are huge requests that usually overwhelm a technical person. So I try to bring it up in the short.
Well, I think this about wraps it up, Mike.
I think this is good. I hope everybody enjoys these. I enjoyed, I like it, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy. I mean, anything is worse than anything is not easy at the beginning. So we're always listening to your feedback and input. And thanks for joining. We'll also be posted on blog.hamza.market probably in the next few days or next week. And then we'll also be sharing a HandyCon. Jose, I'm not sure if you know about HandyCon. A few people here are from the Handshake community, but HandyCon, our 5th annual, is next week at handycon.xyz. Bo's going to have a session there about Hamza. Erwin's from the Handshake community with his lapel pins, and Alex and others here. So we always appreciate that.
Looking forward to the Hamza.
Yeah, I mean,
talk.
Bo's great. He's going to have some good insights, and I'll also be sharing some, throughout the time a little bit, updates on my side. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah, thanks. I know it's late there too, so appreciate that. Okay, everybody, have a good night or day or afternoon. Have a good one.
Cheerio.
Cheers.